And we're live on match day as Doug reaches for a buffalo wing. He's got it! Oh, and he's gone for a can of Pepsi too! What a finish! There's no doubt about it. It just tastes better. Match days deserve Pepsi.
Mornings have a rhythm. You can hear it, feel it. And at Quaker, we fuel it. With 100% whole grain oats and a good source of fiber in every bowl, helping you turn that rhythm into your soundtrack for a great day. Fuel to start whatever's next. Quaker, official sponsor of FIFA World Cup 26.
Let's go! Let's go!
Hi, and welcome to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. My name is Bill Moore. I'm the Executive Director of the National Street Food Vendors Association, which is a nonprofit dedicated to advocacy, connection, education, and setting standards for our industry. Now, before we get into today's topic, I want to remind you guys I'm going to be in Austin, Texas this year on August 4th and 5th. Going to be a part of the Food Truck Owners Expo. Please join me there. You can attend one of my classes. You can visit us on the main expo floor after those classes are completed and just sit down and tell us all about your success story with your food truck or tell us about your dreams to start a food truck. Again, Austin, Texas, August 4th and 5th. Go to FTOexpo.com, place the order for the tickets today. And when you do, put in the code NSFVA15 for a 15% discount. All right, so today's topic is kind of an interesting one. You know how I am. I look at all different kinds of comments and posts on social media, and I ran across this one. This is a direct quote. A smart mouth adult announced in a post that he knows it only costs me pennies to make a cone of cotton candy. This was my response. My 4 machines cost over $6,000, amortized over a 2 times year life expectancy. My $2 million liability insurance is $1,080 a year. Shop space runs $700 a month, plus electricity at $300. Vehicle cost depreciated over 4 years. Auto insurance, maintenance, fuel, new tires, brakes this year, new trailer to carry my equipment, sugars and flavors and packaging supplies, shipping on said supplies, expensive tub seals, plus equipment, show deposits, show fees, all vehicle expenses to and from the events, including toll roads, hotel rooms, meals, and miscellaneous expenses, etc. I cannot make a bag of cotton candy for pennies. Okay. Did that help? Does anybody think that could possibly help when you have a guest complain about pricing? No, that doesn't help. It actually shows this person doesn't understand the very basic tenets of running a food business, and we're in the hospitality industry. There's not one thing hospitable about that response. It's an emotional response because somebody hurt your feelings. Now, I want you to remember the first time somebody came to your food truck, your hot dog cart, your tent, whatever it is that you sell, and they acted like they hacked the code on running a business. And they say to you, I know what your burger costs. I know what your lemonade costs. I know what your taco costs. Or in this case, I know what your cotton candy costs. And we all know they have no clue. They shouldn't. They're not in business. What they see is the value of your particular product. So what they're looking at is the visible ingredients. In this case, it's sugar, maybe a paper cone in a bag. They're looking at the smallest part of the equation and then pretending they understand the whole business. And the vendor responded by listing off the cost of the machines and the liability and the shop space and electric and all the other nonsensical things that he put there to justify why he's charging whatever it is he's charging. Now, I want you to understand the vendor's not wrong. Those costs are absolutely real and have to be included in your end selling price. Obviously, the business doesn't run on sugar alone. If you're selling tacos, it doesn't run on whatever your meat is alone. It runs on equipment and insurance permits, transportation, storage, paper products, event fees, labor, time, setup, cleanup, risk, and all the other things it costs you to be able to show up professionally as a business. But here's the problem. His answer may have been accurate, but it's not effective. There's a difference between being right and then responding in a way that helps build your business. When you answer a customer by dumping every expense you have, you are inviting them to debate you on every single expense you have. Now they get to argue with you on, why are you paying that much in rent? Why do you need $2 million in liability? It's only cotton candy. They can argue now with how much you paid for that trailer. They can argue, why do I have to pay for your hotel bill? Why do I have to pay for your meals? You got to eat whether you're vending or not. So why do I got to pay for that? They can argue about, oh, that sounds kind of like poor planning. And they get to say, not my problem. And from their viewpoint, they're right. Not their problem that you chose to spend those amounts of money, whatever they are. The customer, the guest, the person you're serving is not responsible for understanding your full expense spreadsheet. They're responsible for deciding whether your product and the experience surrounding that product have enough value to justify the price. And that's why the better answer is not to defend every single expense you have, because those don't add to the experience the guest has. The better answer, the way to deal with a cost analysis of your product, is simple. So in this case, cotton candy. You're right, the sugar itself is not the expensive part. But the price of cotton candy is not only based on sugar. It includes the commercial equipment, the insurance, the food safe supplies, the event fees, the travel, the setup time, the labor, the packaging, and the ability to serve safely and professionally. Like most food businesses, the ingredient is only one part of the cost. You're not just paying for the sugar, you're paying for the finished product and the experience that leads up to that product. Now that's a better answer without explaining how much any of that stuff costs, because no one cares. But it does help them to understand there's more to the business than throwing some sugar in a machine and it spins out little cotton candy floss. It's calmer, it's more professional, and it teaches the point without sounding like you are asking the guest to feel sorry for him because, oh, look at all these expenses I have. And that's the danger. When a food vendor starts listing every expense, it starts to sound like, please understand how hard this is for me. Help me. That's not the message you want. The message should be clear. This is a business. It's a real business. We just happen to sell food. And there's more to running a real business than just the ingredients of that food. And that's a huge difference. So you might have a guest that comes up to you if you sell burgers and say, I know that burger can't cost you more than $2 to make. Maybe the beef, the bun, the cheese, the sauce come in somewhere around that number. It could be more, it could be less. But they think they know what you are spending for that food. So just ask them, where's my truck payment? Where's the generator fuel? Where's the propane it took to cook that burger? How about the commissary or the insurance or the labor? How about the packaging it's in? What about the credit card processing fee? What about the time spent prepping the lettuce and the tomatoes and the onions? What about the time spent cleaning up after you're long gone? How about the permit it takes for me to be here? How about the event fee? And what about the slow day when you didn't show up, but I still had food to sell? I tell vendors this all the time. Do not price your menu based only on food cost. Food cost is one piece of the puzzle. It's the beginning piece of the puzzle. It's that corner piece, and everything else is built around that corner piece, because the next step then would be the break-even point that discusses all those expenses. Then you know if you have a viable price for that particular product. So if you sell a $12 burger and your ingredient cost is $4, somebody says you made $8 in profit. And no, you didn't. And there's actually food truck owners that think they did. You made $8 in what we call gross profit. And the reason it's gross is because there's still more expenses that come out of it. The business has stuff to be paid, like the truck, the staff, the insurance, the government, the repair shop, the event organizer, the credit card processor. All those people are hungry too, and they're getting paid a little sliver out of that $12 burger. That's the lesson. That's the response. When someone says it only costs pennies, they're talking simply about the raw product. Help them understand there's more to running a business than the ingredients, because they could certainly go to the grocery store and buy those ingredients and save themselves a whole bunch of money. But then when you put it like that, they'll talk about, well, my electric, and then the light bulb goes off and they realize you pay those same things. As a food truck owner, as a food vendor, whatever it is, cart, trailer, you need to stop apologizing and defending making money. You're not a charity. Just because someone likes your product doesn't mean it should be as cheap as they think it should be. You're not required to sell at cost because that's not a business. That is a losing proposition. So just because somebody thinks they understand sugar or flour or meat and potatoes doesn't mean you have to turn every comment that talks only about those things into a fight. There is a better way. So here's the response I would recommend that you give when somebody says, hey, your food is too expensive. Hey, I know how much that costs you, or they write it in a comment or a review. Just say simply, I understand why it may look that way from the outside, but the ingredients are only one part of the cost of running a business. There's equipment and insurance and labor and packaging and travel, event fees, setup fees, cleanup. There's the cost of operating safely. All of those things a real business does. We price our products so that we can provide the highest quality possible and still be able to open up next year. And that last line is the one that matters. And still be able to open next year. That's talking about a future. Pricing cheap is one of the fastest ways for you to go away as a business. Deal with it every day. Someone's got a problem with their profitability, and as we dig into things, there's hemorrhaging of money everywhere. And it starts with the menu price. So before you ever answer, just think to yourself, is this person confused? Or are they committing to being difficult? And those are two different people. A confused person can be educated. The light bulb will go off when you say, well, there's more to it. You talk about equipment and travel fees and all the other expenses that we've been talking about. The difficult person, they just want an argument, and it doesn't matter what you say. You just want to build your response. For the reasonable people that might be just reading along and are not going to comment, or those reasonable people that are listening as they hear somebody complain about your prices. Because remember, whatever you say on social media is going to be there forever. And looking like a grumpy old man or a grumpy old lady, not going to help you grow as a business. Your tone matters. And your response, whatever the words are, should say, I understand my business numbers. I respect my business's future, and I respect my guests. So whatever you say, however you want to word it, frame it so it's, I understand my numbers, I understand my business, I respect my customers, I respect my guests. You don't need to argue, you don't need to put a number in there, you don't need to define anything. The very bottom line to this is when someone complains about costs, what they're actually saying is they can't afford you. They're not your guest to begin with.
LinkedIn is pretty amazing at helping you grow your small business. We cannot make your email response time faster. We can help you sell, market, and hire in one place. We cannot help you find space for your 3 desk drinks. Why do you have 3? And while we can't help you find the perfect volume for your presentation video, LinkedIn can help you find the perfect audience for your business. Grow your small business on LinkedIn. Learn more at linkedin.com/smallbusiness.
Study and play come together on a Windows 11 PC. And for a limited time, college students get the best of both worlds. Get the Unreal College Deal. Everything you need to study and play with select Windows 11 PCs. Eligible students get a year of Microsoft 365 Premium and a year of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with a custom color Xbox wireless controller. Learn more at windows.com/student offer. While supplies last. Ends June 30th. Terms at aka.ms/collegepc.
Thank you guys so much for listening today. I hope you found everything that we talked about useful to you. If you did, please do 2 things for me. Number 1 is subscribe, or whatever it is that your platform wants you to do. Follow us, like, subscribe, whatever it is, please do it. Second thing I'd like you to do is go to nsfva.org and join our association today. It's $19 a month. We have all kinds of pre-recorded educational videos. We do live classes every Monday night. We do coaching every Tuesday, group coaching, 2 different hours, 2 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and that is in Central Time. So please join our association, $19 a month. You're not going to find a better deal anywhere.